Hey guys, this is Marcus here, and as you can see, we're back with the Master League for Crystal Palace. In today's episode, we actually have 4 matches for you, so we can go into the January transfer window at the start of the next episode, or at the end of this episode. As you can see there, we sold Sacco. We sold Sacco to Torino, if I remember correctly, and we ended up buying Brahimi from Porto. So we bought 2 of Porto's best players in Maicon and Brahimi. And in today's episode, we have some hardcore matches for you, but as you can see here, like I was saying, Emre Can isn't even on the bench for Liverpool. They have likes of Pablo Aimar as well. They have Coutinho, but for some reason they decided to play Rossiter instead. Jurgen Klopp, manager, makes sense. We played our strongest team possible. We always play our strongest team possible and against games like this, so playing against Liverpool, we played our strongest team possible. And Liverpool, not as difficult as I expect them to be. So in the last episode, we ended up beating Chelsea 1-0, which was pretty good. Going into today's episode, I was like, well, into today's games in general, I was like, okay, we're gonna try and do this. Let's try and just keep it going. So we're top of the table, joint top with Manchester City, 1 point ahead of 3rd and 4th place. At the top of the table, there's 6 points between 8 places or something. And going into today's episode, knowing that if we just win the games and continue to win, we would end up just keep going up the table. So in the first minutes of the match, Suarez, again on the left hand side as usual, plays it, tries to play it straight through to Wilfried Zaha, doesn't come to anything, and Mignolet clears the ball out to Christian Benteke. But 10 minutes into the match, Cabaye on the ball runs past about 3 players, and they all track him ridiculously, playing to James McCarthy. McCarthy plays it into Balassi on the left hand side. Balassi takes 2 or 3 touches before eventually crossing it in, low cross into Wilfried Zaha, and Zaha pings it in the back of the net to give us a 1-0 lead with an amazing strike. And we're so ridiculously confident on the ball here, as you see Jedinak on the ball, playing it into Zaha again. Zaha just continues to run past players that are not even there. Eventually, Castaños does make the run. Kolo Touré, for some reason, is in defence for them. And he gets a strike away. I mean, for some reason I did a shot feint. I don't know why, but I did a shot feint. Doesn't come to anything, and Mignolet makes a really good save. But in the 75th minute of the match, Maicon on the ball, plays it into James McCarthy. McCarthy into Suarez into Balassi, and Balassi just waits, runs past Klein like he's not even there, and just continues to run down the left hand side, eventually playing a ball into Johan Cabaye, who's through on goal past Joe Allen, and gets a strike away. It comes out, keeper makes a ridiculously good save, and it gets cleared eventually. But they were trying to get forward eventually, but McCarthy makes a ridiculously good tackle, gives it to Joel Ward. Ward just runs past Enrique like he's not there, gets tackled, and it goes out for a throw-in, if I remember correctly. And from the resulting throw-in, we just throw it in as you'd expect. Jedinak on the ball, bringing on the likes of Sacco and whatnot, Joe Ledley as well from McCarthy. And Maicon picks the ball, gives it into Jedinak. Jedinak gives it into Cabaye. Cabaye into Castaños. Castaños back to Cabaye. Cabaye waits. Castaños makes a run. It doesn't come to anything either. Joe Allen tries to get away again. Sacco this time picks the ball, plays it into Cabaye. Cabaye runs past them. I think it's Kolo Touré. Gets a strike away. Goes up for a corner kick. And from a resulting corner kick, which Suarez takes, gives it to Jedinak. Jedinak just heads it in the back of the net, and it's a ridiculously good header because the goalie doesn't even move. And I love it when you score goals like this in this game because it actually looks so ridiculously realistic. And then from that, we just knew that we were basically winning the game. We won the game against Liverpool. So, win against Liverpool, pretty good result against Liverpool. 2-0 win, could have probably been more, but Mignolet sort of kept him in the match. Jedinak, for some reason, was captain. I have no clue why. We had 7 shots, 7 on target. Could have shown you all 7 shots. You would have probably been quite impressed by a lot of them. Zaha got man of the match. He scored the goal. Would have scored the first goal. And into the second match of the episode. Second of 4. So we're halfway through. We're going into halfway through. And we're going up against Manchester United, the Louis van Gaal's team. As you can see from Van Gaal's team, he's not bought any players. He's just got a ridiculously good team. He's actually playing Rooney where he should be playing Rooney in real life. And he's playing Martial up front. Now Martial, of course, only rated 74 rated in this game, but he is one of those players I'm 100% sure will be at 95 by 3 seasons in or something. It'll be ridiculous. Sometimes in PES, the players, some players in real life are doing really well. Of course, we'll get there. It makes sense, but he's one of those ones who's if you play him for 2 seasons, he'll just be he'll just skyrocket. It's slightly unrealistic, but it's also quite realistic, if you know what I mean. So, with that being said, going up against Manchester United, I want to try and score as many goals with Wilfried Zaha, considering that he's a former Man United player. Well, who bought him again? I don't remember who even bought him, but whoever bought him didn't really play him. And then, Zaha, he was a good enough player for Man United. I don't know why they didn't even bother playing him. But in the first minutes of the match, Zaha gets thrown goal, and I ping it into the top corner past David De Gea. And I'm like, screw you, Man United, that's what you get. when you don't score, when you don't play Wilfried Zaha. I love Wilfried Zaha, like, in real life. I think he's absolutely amazing. But anyway, Zaha scores to make it 1-0. In the 9th minute of the match here, Balassi on the ball, plays it into Cabaye. Cabaye just basically waits. Eventually Balassi makes a run. Balassi gets thrown goal, passes it across to Castaños, and Castaños pings it right at the goalkeeper. But from the resulting corner kick, Jedinak himself gets up, heads it past De Gea to make it 2-0 to us. And I was like, it was like we're living in a dreamland, considering that we're top of the table, but we're winning games relatively comfortably against the harder opposition. When it comes to facing off against like Norwich or someone terrible, we just cannot seem to like destroy them. But when it comes to against like Man United for this particular game, we're 2-0 up after 44 minutes. And then, like, as you see here, like, in the last minutes of the first half, he's sort of dominating again and again and again. Juan Mata trying to get forward, Cabaye coming for an amazing sliding tackle, getting past Darmian like he's not even there, eventually crossing the ball into the back post where there's no one there to get to it, but doing like ridiculously good at the half time. And at half time it was 2-0 to us against Manchester United at Selhurst Park. Of course, Man United are like terrible in that black kit. I don't know why they even wear it in real life, but like doing pretty well. Eventually in the 76th minute, having brought some substitutes, Sacco down the left hand side, considering I'm going to be selling him, crosses it into Lee. Lee tries to get a head on it, gets his head on it. Really good save from David De Gea. And then from that, it comes all the way up into the last minutes of the match where Castaños on the ball, runs past Smalling like he's not there, gives it into Connor Wickham, who'd come in as a substitute. Connor Wickham gets taken out, but basically a lot of kerfuffle happens for a bit, and the referee is like, I've had enough, and blows the final whistle. So a 2-0 win against Manchester United at Selhurst Park is just the best way to have like a halfway intermediate interval in this particular episode. So going into the third match of the episode, go up against West Brom. Now away to West Brom, not one of those teams which is really difficult to be honest. Like, their best player is Darren Fletcher. They actually had bought Benedict Habadez of all people from Schalke for the 82 rated centre back. People say that PES is unrealistic and that I make unrealistic signings, but Habadez moving from Schalke to West Brom, that's unrealistic. But anyway, the game does what the game does, so obviously I'm just trying to follow that through in my own sort of way. So with that being said, going up against West Brom away from home at the Hawthorns, I have no clue how to even pronounce that. Well, I know how to pronounce it, I just really can't be bothered pronouncing it properly. But going up against them, knowing that we'd just be on a two game winning streak, again need to change their colour as well, and going against West Brom and knowing that like we just basically won two ridiculously hard games, and like our team was not dead but it was starting to get there. We were expecting a difficult game against West Brom because of course they're one of those teams who pass the ball a lot, but they do have like their ability to like play long balls forward, the likes of Ricky Lambert. And in the first minutes of the match, like trying to get forward, eventually in the 18th minute of the match, Cabaye on the ball runs past some players that are not even there, eventually gets a strike away, ridiculously good save from the goalkeeper, and it goes up for a corner kick, comes to nothing. But in the 37th minute, Suarez himself gets a strike away, again a really good save from Ben Foster. And then Ben Foster throws it out down the left hand side to James McLean. McLean just runs forward, and for some reason the referee gives a free kick for that. I don't see a free kick there, but hey ho. Anyway, but going into the 66th minute of the match, Zaha on the ball down his right hand side, runs past Pognoli like he's not there, gets taken out, and I was like, please don't tell me he's injured him. And he hadn't injured him. I showed it in, it's just because it's a funny animation from falling over. But in the 73rd minute of the match here, they try and get the ball forward. Eventually James McLean picks it up, plays it into Darren Fletcher. Fletcher like steals the ball of Maicon. Maicon for some reason just decides not to defend properly, and Darren Fletcher scores to make it 1-0 to West Brom. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to be having that. So from kickoff, Wickham on the ball, plays it eventually in to Castaños. Castaños takes one strike, gets a strike away, goes out for a corner kick after Darren Fletcher clears it off the line. Suarez hits it in, Jedinak hits his header off the crossbar, goes for the rebound and pops him back in the net to make it 1-1. Now I was like trying to pick the ball up there, that's why I ran towards it, but anyway, Jedinak scores to make it 1-1, and I was like, okay, let's go forward, try and get this final goal to make it like 2-1 to us, like continue to get this goal, to get the game winning goals that we need to get. Sacco gets the strike away, really good save from Ben Foster, probably should have scored there, and that was the final score. So 1-0 against West Brom after we just beat Man United and Liverpool. Ridiculous, but I mean from the stats we probably deserved to win, considering we had 8 shots, 6 on target, and their man of the match with Darren Fletcher. And into the last match of this episode, again against another hard opposition in the form of Tottenham. Tottenham haven't really bought any players for their main starting lineup. They have some guy called Dinkov at right mid, who I've never heard of, but they have Weidenfeller on the bench, and that was really about it. So, going into this match, I knew I was going to face off against Tottenham. I knew that Tottenham are quite one of those hard teams that, like, in the beginning of the game, they're not really that good, and then, like, 2 seasons in, they can probably easily win the title. In PES 15, I did finish with Tottenham, with my Master League with Tottenham. I ended up winning the Champions League with them, says a lot, but going again may or may not change Tottenham's colour. I mean, I did like the little blue. It's a bit too blue for my liking. It should potentially be white as well, so I need to probably change that in the edit mode. Probably won't do that until the end of the season, because why not? And then in this game, I mean, again, as usual, we kick off the game, run down the left hand side of Yannick Bolasie, cross it in first time, doesn't come to anything. But in the 21st minute of the match, Wilfried Zaha on the ball plays it into Patrick Bamford, who'd started this match for some reason, and eventually Cabaye picks up the ball, Wilfried Zaha picks up the ball, runs about for a bit, doesn't really go anywhere, but eventually runs past about 4 or 5 players, gets a strike away, really good save from Hugo Lloris, but Zaha is there to ping it in with his left foot to give us a 1-0 lead against Tottenham at Selhurst Park. Every game we play at home we just seem to do ridiculously well at, but the away games we just can't seem to really do that good. So, in the 27th minute of the match here, Danny Rose gets played through down his left hand side, eventually does get a cross, Noli gets a cross in, Romagnoli tries to clear it into Scott Dan. I'm so happy he's leaving because it was a ridiculous clearance. Scott Dan just gets in the way and Young Song Min scores to make it 1-1. And in the 41st minute of the match here, James McArthur on the ball, plays it into Patrick Bamford down his left hand side. McArthur continues his run, gives it back to James McArthur. McArthur runs past Bentaleb, gets a strike away, and I generally thought it was going wide when I first did that shot, but it actually went flying in the back of the net, and I was like, okay, James, like, no bother, mate. And I was actually happy to see him score, but in the 76th minute of the match, like, some ridiculous mistakes from the defence, nearly let Min in again, Son Young Min in again, and he actually nearly scores again, but actually make a really ridiculously good tackle with Maicon. But in the 93rd minute of the match, they're getting forward in the last minutes. I'm taking players out left, right, centre. Dinkov tries to get the ball forward. I eventually get the ball forward back Patrick Bamford. Bamford takes his time, sort of gets taken out, but they continue to play on even though Min is injured. And in the last minutes, I take out someone else with Cabaye, and the referee blows whistle. So a final game, a 2-1 win against Tottenham. Pretty decent, considering that we're one of those teams which probably don't really deserve to be winning all these games. Zaha gets man of match from match day 19. Norwich beat Arsenal, Sunderland beat Bournemouth, Liverpool beat West Ham, and City beat Man United. And as you see there, we're still top of the table coming into January transfer window, 4 points clear of Chelsea, on the same points as Manchester City, but we have a better goal difference by 2. And in the bottom 3 we have Stoke, Bournemouth and West Brom. So as you can see here, and like this, the episode's not finished yet, because I went and looked at the likes of the player status and the monthly stats and stuff like that, just to sort of see stuff which is happening. As you can see here, Mariappa announced his retirement for some reason at the age of 29. I was like, fair enough, he's a 70 rated player who I've never played. I've only played once, I think, or maybe even twice. And as you see from the staff report, Scott Dan's left, Damon Delaney's left, Sacco's left, Wayne Hennessy's left, and Jedinak has left. And the 4 players coming in are Chan, Camacho, Fisher, and I forgot what other one was. But yeah, so we've bought some players in, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. Is either a shock move for Yaya Toure, who's signed for Barcelona, for Manchester City, and this is just me doing the contract renewal stuff like that. So yeah, anyway, this is going into the next episode. Will be the 2nd of January and stuff like that. So if you have any players you want me to buy, I might actually consider them. If you don't, then don't even bother commenting, because I won't really even look at them and don't say stuff like Messi or anything. But yeah, if you have enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel for more, and catch you later.